So let's just start off right away. So I'm not going to ask you to go in depth about the actors strike, but let me ask you this, Sean, just very generally speaking. What kind of threat does AI pose to not only acting, but the future of cinema and or television?
I think it's an enormous threat. I mean, look, it's very much the same as the internet. You know, the internet is one of the greatest inventions that, we have seen in our lifetime, but we've also become, pretty much everyone has become painfully aware of the negatives and the pitfalls that come along with it.
Right.
For me, one of the biggest issues that I see is that, from what I understand, and I actually just read the sort of both sides of the fence with SAG and with the producers, they want to have the ability to use AI to alter scenes that actors have shot and to basically create new scenes using AI. I mean, I'm going to give you a ridiculous example, but what if I'm giving a speech as an actor and I'm saying, George Washington was the greatest leader ever, and suddenly they decide to have me say Adolf Hitler was the greatest leader ever.
Right.
I mean, without an actor having any kind of oversight as to what is coming out of their mouth, I think it's unacceptable. And that's just me talking as a guy that's, I'm not a background actor, obviously, but for background actors, they want to have the right to pay a background actor to work one day and then use that image in perpetuity anywhere and everywhere that they seem fit. And it's on a prima facie type thing, it's just not right. I think that the art of negotiation necessitates compromise. And I think that both sides are going to have to do some compromising. But there are, in my opinion, some egregious inequities that are going on. I've been a member of the Screen Actors Guild since I was 15 years old.
Wow.
And I stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters in the Screen Actors Guild, and I stand in solidarity with the Writers Guild.
Yeah, and the idea that, like, if you're an extra or getting into acting in some way, and they can use your one little background image forever, it's like a water bottle. It's a single use, and you're done. That's it, right?
Yeah, I mean, just from a kind of sense of fair play, the producers have been making a tremendous amount of money on streaming, and when this was negotiated last time, streaming wasn't the monster that it is now.
Right.
And so because technology changes so quickly, a lot of what was negotiated then didn't exist now. It's time that there's another negotiation. And, my hope is that it can be done in good faith, can be expeditious, and can bring value to both sides. Because I'll tell you, I'm a huge proponent of win-win scenarios.
Right.
There's very few times in life where I believe I have to completely vanquish you for me to win. Right. And I think if you come at things from a perspective of, look, I want this and this is important to me, but I recognize that you have wants and needs that are important to you. Let's move towards making what we can make, moving to the center where we can, and, we'll fight it out where we can't. But if either party simply expects it to be kind of a monolithic win, then we really are in for an extremely protracted strike here. And, again, my knowledge of this is probably comparatively limited to a lot of people that have different understandings of the business. But I will say this, that my hypothesis is that if the strike is protracted and subscriptions on the streaming services diminish greatly because of a lack of new content, when we come back, there may not be as many jobs for actors as there were before. I think that's just a fact. That's not an argument for either side.
Right.
But I firmly believe that if the Screen Actors Guild Aftra does not put its foot down now about AI, the genie is going to be completely out of the bottle, and it's going to be all over but the crying. And if we don't do it now, it's going to be much more difficult, if not completely impossible, to do it at a later date. And that's really just one of the issues.
Yeah, and you know what? You mentioned win-win once. That's such a great attitude, healthy attitude to have, Sean. And not only that, everyone's going to lose. Like the fans are going to lose,
Yeah.
actors are going to lose, writers are going to lose, producers. So I think AI is going to be a bigger problem on a lot of fronts. I mean, you have AI like writing term papers for college kids. Like this is only just starting to, like, people are going to be facing this cobra head on in a lot of different areas, Sean.
I mean, forget the whole Skynet implications and all that sort of stuff. But I worry honestly that if we get too comfortable using AI as creatives, that it's really going to be a recirculation of derivative ideas that are just algorithmically different versions of the same thing, instead of having new and brilliant and fresh ideas that only come from human beings.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I have no doubt that an AI can create a fabulous novel, but is it going to do it by basically, interconnecting things that already exist, as opposed to something that we've never seen before? And I think that diminishes us as people, as humans.
Yeah. Let AI cure something like cancer, or
Absolutely. I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. But
Yeah.
it's gotta have constraints.
That's right. I completely agree. So, man, you have a bunch of dates I want to promote here, and I thought of you because I'm covering Terrficon. But before we get to Terrficon, we talked in our first interview about your stand-up career. Sean, what made you get into stand-up? I mean, stand-up is, like, to me, the biggest nightmare, because you listen to all these stand-up comedians. It is difficult. Like, you have to be creative, you have to be fresh. You are out there on an island, as you know. So why the stand-up? Because you had a, yes, go ahead.
So I was a kid, and I don't know, I must have been like 14 or 15, and I snuck into a comedy club with a buddy of mine. And I was just mesmerized at how these people with just a microphone and their words could keep this audience spellbound. And I said, I want to do that. I want to be able to do that. And about a year or so later, me and some buddies, we took the car and went down to Atlantic City, and there was a talent show in the boardwalk. And I said, you know what? I'm getting up there. I'm doing it. I had no idea what I was going to do. And I got up and did some incarnation of comedy. It was fantastic. And, throughout the years, it's just something that I've always kind of come back to. I find that as an actor, the ability to be able to write and create dialogue on the spot, especially dialogue that's funny, has dramatically improved so many of my performances in things where maybe it wasn't always on the page.
Right.
I think that's a huge skill set for actors to develop. And I just love it because, when I do the soap, we don't film in front of a live audience. And when you do a movie, you certainly don't film in front of a live audience. And there's nothing like that immediate reciprocity that you get from that interaction with you up on stage and the audience, just connected to what you're saying.
Yeah. And there's been a few shows, like, old school shows that they did film in front of a live studio audience, and you could feel that energy. Like, we're talking 70s, 80s, but
like sitcoms and things like that.
Yes. Yeah. So let me ask you, when you mentioned comedians, who are a few that when you were a kid were like, I want to be that one. I love the way this one.
For sure, Eddie Murphy. I mean, when I think I heard Raw. I forget if I heard it on a record first or actually saw it, but I mean, there hadn't really been comedians like Eddie Murphy before. I mean, he put like rock star into comedians, coming out in like all leather, and it was just like, wow, this is amazing. God, who else do I like? Love George Carlin when I was a kid, because he was just so naughty and dirty, but he also really makes you think. And I grew up watching so many of the sitcoms in like the 70s and the 80s, well, the 80s, I guess. And I just always, I think we use comedy so much in our lives, not just to make people laugh. We use it as a coping mechanism. We use it as a way to break the ice. It's something that is, it's a common denominator that all human beings share.
Right.
There are certain tropes, that all people laugh at. I mean, a horrible example of it is just, somebody slipping on a banana peel. I mean, for some reason, there's certain things that even if we don't all speak the same language, we laugh.
Right.
And I think that humor is an incredibly, it has incredible powers of unification.
Yeah. Bathroom humor would be in that ballpark, right?
Yeah.
How about a comedy, Sean, or maybe even a show that when you were like, oh man, that is just maybe like a Caddyshack, or like, what's a movie where you were like, as a kid, you were hit?
Well, I mean, I loved when I was a kid. There was a film called Used Cars with Kurt Russell.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah,
and that's one of the first comedies where I remember thinking, wow, that's really funny stuff. Animal House, Blues Brothers, gosh, of course, Caddyshack. I don't know. What are some of your favorites? Stripes. I gotta throw Stripes in there.
For me, I mean, I love Peter Sellers and the Pink Panther. Like, I think Peter Sellers was one of the funniest guys that nobody ever talks about. Like, I mean, people that love movies know him, but I feel like he should be as household as like Steve Martin or any of those guys. I just think he's just. But
you just said Steve Martin. I mean, Planes, Trains, Automobiles.
Yeah, John classic. Candy. Yeah, we can go down
pretty much anything John Candy did. I mean, even the stuff he did that wasn't great, I loved. Such a, I studied at Second City. He's a Second City guy.
Yeah.
I remember I was working at Second City in Los Angeles, and I just remember sort of a sense of reverence for the people that had worked there before me, much in the same way like the first time I performed at the Comedy Store.
Right.
I just took a breath. I remember I was in the room before the audience had come in or anything like that, and I was just like, Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor. I mean, I'm going to be on the same stage as these guys, and you hope that through some kind of osmosis, through the bits of energy that maybe they left behind, you're going to get just a granular amount of what it is that they have.
Yeah, and your call of Eddie Murphy being one, I completely agree. Everyone talks about Chappelle, and he is wonderful.
Chappelle.
He's wonderful, but I'm sorry, at the top of my mountain is Eddie Murphy. For me, I love him. I think Raw was one of the best stand-ups I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
I agree.
So you are going to be in the New York Comedy Club at Stanford, Connecticut.
That is correct.
This is July 24th.
This Thursday.
7 p.m.
27th.
When do you take off, and when do you how does this ball start rolling? Because you have a very busy week ahead of you.
I leave Wednesday morning, and I arrive in New York, and then the next day I head to Stanford, do the show that night. Next morning I head to Unksville. It's just kind of fun to say Unksville, and go to Mohegan Sun, and going back to Terrficon. This is my third year in a row. I don't think they've ever had anybody come for 3 years, but it's so much fun. I love that convention so much.
Me too.
I told Mitch, who puts it on, who's a fantastic guy. I said, Mitch, I'll do it for free. I said, don't worry. I'll make what I make. I just love going because for me, I always meet people that are so interesting there, both the other entertainers and actors, and just the people that come to it. I mean, some of my cinematic fanboy things. Michael Bihn's going to be there. Come on, Johnny Ringo, man. I mean, not to mention Alien and Terminator, and it's really a fun couple days.
Yeah, and I was gonna, I have an order, but I have to say this because I cover a ton of cons. I was just in Philadelphia covering the Fan Expo.
Yeah,
I'm going to Boston after this. So I have to say, there are some actors, and it's fine. I'm not like degrading anybody that charge like $250 a picture autographed, like
Wow.
$300. And there's two, and I'm not giving out any names. There's two in Philadelphia that together you're paying $600 for two autographs. Like to me,
Wow.
it's like if you say you're about the fans, that's not the greatest way to show it. I get you. You were worth what you worth. You've busted your ass to get to this point in your life. I'm not like shitting on anybody. I don't want to do that.
Right.
But I'm going somewhere with this. So my point is, I was looking at, your photo is 35 in auto, your combo is 60. That is dirt cheap. Like a family can meet somebody that they love.
Where did you get those numbers from?
Those are off the website. If those are incorrect, yeah.
Are they're up the website?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that, but okay.
Yeah, they put them on the website. So I don't know. But either way, let's say I'm off by 10 or 15 either way.
Yeah,
Let's say I'm off. But like that is, I mean, you are praching what you are practicing. Like that is exactly.
I mean, look, I certainly don't charge $250 for mine. I think I charge $50 for an 8x10, and I think I charge, I don't know, $75 for an 11x14.
Right.
But no, I don't. I'm not interested in charging someone $250 for my autograph. I mean, look, there's a reality to the fact that you fly across the country, you give up 3 or 4 days to go do this. I mean, you want to get compensated. And I don't begrudge anybody for that. And I don't judge anybody on what they charge, because you never know why somebody does that. But for me, I charge what I feel is fair to me, but not taking advantage.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you've put your time in. So like you've busted your ass on soaps, you busted your ass on TV, you busted your ass in the movies. Like,
right.
So, and I guess my point is you've earned to get whatever you are, whatever that is. Like that, to me, that's a big thing too. Like you're giving up your time. And this wasn't like, this all didn't like come to you. Like you didn't hit a lottery. Like you've earned your way here.
Right.
And I think people, I think people need to realize, people go to a Comic-Con and they expect the early on when I started going, people are like, I can't believe this person's charging, right? But it's like you're missing the whole. That's not how it works. Like, free isn't a thing in society today. So I don't know, but so you the whole weekend starts. You have the stand-up special. How's that work, Sean? How's that stand-up? Is there, how many openers are there? How many comedians would people see if they go there? How's that?
This is my Comedy Dojo show. It's just going to be me, and it's a 90-minute show. It's going to be me. It's going to be my guest sensei, Russ Gutin, super funny guy, and I love him because he is a huge Karate Kid Cobra Kai fan. So he's like the perfect guy to do this. We do a Q&A. We do a meet and greet. So we really make it the kind of event where you're not just going to see comedy, but you get a chance to talk to me and meet me and hang with me a bit. And it's worked out really well. It's a lot of fun.
Sean, do fans ever surprise you with what you say, with what they say? Is there anything that ever comes out of their mouth that, like, I know you've been down this road, you've done it, but are you ever surprised with some of the questions that they ask or comments that they make?
I haven't been surprised in quite a while. I obviously a lot of people are interested in, Mike Barnes, that sort of stuff. What surprises me sometimes is when somebody shows up, who like I went to high school with. I did one in Las Vegas. I was doing a book signing actually, and a girl that I was in like 5th grade was living in Las Vegas, and she's like, "Do you remember me?" And of course I remember you. And I started rattling off like how we knew each other and who our teachers were and things like that. So that's one of the things that's interesting. When you advertise out in the world that you're going to be somewhere, anybody in the world knows you're going to be there and can come sort of find you, and you never know who it's going to bring. So far, it's been 99.99% good.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, dude, I've got my thing ready for you. So I got a VHS sealed from when it came out.
Oh,
Karate.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. So
that's cool, Derek. I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna come see you. So let me ask you this. I've been to a lot of the Boston Comic Con, some of the other Comic Cons. They're great, but they're very crowded and it's cramped and it's like you can't even breathe. Terrificon is not like that.
It's not like that. It's so huge,
wide open, like, and I love it. It's I'm not even gonna call it a smaller con. It's a big con, but it's like it's got that small feel to it. It's got a very cozy feel to it. Like you're not like I was in Philadelphia. I'm like, I have to fucking sit down. Like, I can't take this.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe. Terrificon is not like this in any way.
No.
And Sean, talk about your experiences in Terrificon, because I feel like you mentioned 3 years. New England has a huge following as far as movies. It's known for its,
Yeah.
cinematography. People, a lot of movie makers have been here. So share your experiences with.
Well, I went to school in Boston for 2 years before transferring to UCLA. So I
That's
lived in
right.
Boston.
Yeah,
Went to
that's
Boston
right.
University, and now this being my 3rd year, I'm going to see a lot of people that I've seen before, and it's not a matter of everybody coming up and buying stuff. I love when people that I've seen over the last couple of years just come up and say hi. I really enjoy when people. Sometimes people are a little reticent to come up and say, "Hey, listen, I'm not going to buy anything. I just want to say hi." That's fine. Come up, shake my hand, say hi. Not a problem at all. I really am flattered and love. People have been so supportive of me for the most part throughout my careers, that I'm just always happy to say hi to the fans and take a minute or two and talk to them. And I really look forward to that. And Mohegan Sun is a beautiful, beautiful place to have a convention too. It's a beautiful hotel, casino, great restaurants, all that sort of stuff. So I really enjoy going. It's I don't want to say it's a vacation for me because it is work, but
Yeah,
it's very pleasant. Like I really enjoy it.
Is it nice to hear when people tell you how much? I mean, I've told you this in our first interview, but like, is it nice when people tell you how much your work has meant to them?
It's better than when they tell you suck. Yeah, I find that's definitely better.
Yeah, it tends to be better. Yeah, but I mean,
No, it is. It's nice.
After a few more questions, after you're done with your day stuff and all that other stuff, are you a blackjack guy? Are you anything? Are you a
I
casino guy?
used to gamble a lot, and I was pretty good. That doesn't mean that I didn't lose my fair share, but I won my fair share too. And it's so funny. I don't know if it's something like I just kind of grew out of it or what, but when I got married, my priorities shifted, and I just was like, I work too damn hard for my money. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll go and I'll play some slots. If I lose $100 playing slots, I consider that like entertainment money. And on a rare occasion, I'll play a little blackjack. But I don't feel the pull to it like I used to. I mean, I used to really enjoy gambling, and it's just something I kind of phased out of.
Yeah, and when your kids enter the picture, it's like life just gets to you in that way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
When
things
I think how
change.
hard I have to work to earn X amount of dollars, and how quickly you can blow it with a couple bad hands, and the idea of going and working all day at Terrficon and earning money doing that and then going and blowing it in an hour at the casino just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, that would suck. Yeah. Last thing. Comedy Chateau, August 5th too. I mean,
Yes.
I know it's not Connecticut, but I wanted to throw that out there.
Well, I'll be at Dragon Con on August 5th during the day, which is in Burbank. It's an amazing martial arts convention, all sorts of big martial arts stars and everything, but not unlike Terrficon or something else like that, just martial arts centric. And that night I will be doing the Comedy Dojo show at the Comedy Chateau in North Hollywood. It's going to be me, Mike Marino, Justin Ruppel, and Michael Maloney. It's going to be a lot of fun because the next day is the Bold and the Beautiful fan event, which we haven't had in a couple of years because of COVID.
Wow.
And so fans are descending on Los Angeles from all over the world because Bold and the Beautiful is syndicated in like 40 countries, I think. And I know a lot of them are going to come to the show. And I know a lot of the actors from Bold and the Beautiful are going to come to the show on the 5th. So I'm really looking forward to that event. And you can get tickets for that at, I think it's thecomedychateau.com.
Sean, are the fan bases different? So is like the soap fan base different from like the Karate Kid 3 fan base or like anything else? Like, are they different people? Is it just people just love who your work? Like, how's that work?
I think that there's some Bold and the Beautiful fans that are Cobra Kai fans for sure.
Right.
I think probably less Cobra Kai fans are Bold and the Beautiful fans, but there is a nexus for sure. And the powers that be on Bold and the Beautiful have wisely tried to expand that nexus, having my character Deacon do some martial arts on the show, which has been a lot of fun. And then fortunately I got some people that are just nice enough to want to see what I'm doing and they'll watch whatever I'm doing. And I'm just so flattered for that. I mean, I always joke that if I've had one great talent in my career, it's my ability to grab onto coattails bigger than me. You know, getting on a show like Bold and the Beautiful, which is the most watched daytime show in the world and in the Guinness World Book of Records for that.
Wow.
You know, you join a show like that, and in a matter of a month, you're known throughout the world.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, being a part of a juggernaut like Cobra Kai, the same thing, General Hospital to a lesser extent. But I've been very fortunate to get on some shows that really, you know, have been infinitely bigger than me and reap the benefits.
Sean, do you feel like your soap work is underappreciated?
Do I feel like my soap work is underappreciated?
I feel like you put a lot of yourself into it. I mean, soaps are tough for people to see because they're during the day, but now it's
Yeah.
not even now it's not a thing with how technology
You
works.
know, I mean, I listen, I live my life from a place of gratitude. I
Right.
really do.
Right.
I don't feel underappreciated. You know, I have got a tremendous group of people that I work with on the Bold and the Beautiful, and I feel extremely valued and appreciated by them and by the fans. So no, I'm going to say no, I don't.
Yeah.
You know, playing Deacon Sharp has been one of the greatest honors and privileges of my career. You know, I have my own show, Studio City on Amazon Prime. Got nominated for, I think, 16, 17 Emmys for that. We won 3. I won 1. And I play an over-the-hill soap actor on that. So I feel that I've been very well appreciated for that. So no, I don't.
I say it knowing how much of yourself you've put into this. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you this weekend. Everybody.
It's going to be great, brother.
Yeah. Hey man, I'll cut it off at this. If I messed up on those prices, I took it right off the website. I don't want to.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Don't worry about it. I'll gouge everybody when I see them. Okay. Take care, man. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, and I hope they get tickets for the show this Thursday at the Stanford New York Comedy Club. Okay.
Thank you, Sean.